Hi, Scott. ROCKFILE back with another podcast review for you. Going to talk about the Second Sight 4K edition of the 2002 film Dog Soldiers. This has always been one of my favorite werewolf movies, and it has always looked like dog shit on Blu-ray, on DVD, in the theater. It looked terrible, always. It's a grainy, low-budget film, $2.3 million budget, went on to gross $5 million UK money, pounds, if you will. But it became a cult classic. It was the first movie we saw from Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall went on to direct Descent, which is one of the greatest horror movies of all time. He directed Centurion, Doomsday, and a few other films, and then he got into TV. During one of the extras, it's a brand new interview with him, and he talks about his entire career, not just this movie. They go into great detail about how Dog Soldiers got made and such, but he goes into his entire career up to today. He got into TV because it's allowed him to do things he could never do in the movies. He directed Cowboys in Westworld. He directed sword and sorcery stuff in Game of Thrones. You know, he's worked on some of the biggest TV shows that have been on the last few years. That's why he stopped making movies for a while. And he's getting back into movies. He just made a movie called The Reckoning, which now is on my list. But I remember when it came out, because everybody was talking about Neil Marshall, he made this low-budget werewolf movie that was great. So as I said at the beginning, the movies always looked terrible. It was filmed on grainy film stock and just... So earlier this year, I was on Walmart.com looking for steelbooks and kind of thing, and they had listed... It was from Deep Discount DVD, actually. I think they were responsible for the listing, but they had the Shout Factory version, but listed as a steelbook. And I'm like, I don't think Shout Factory ever did release a steelbook, but I'll order it anyway because it says steelbook and we'll see. And of course, when it came in, it wasn't. So I returned it and got a credit and bought something else. But in the meantime, when I was looking up the versions of Dog Soldiers on 4K, Second Sight, the UK company, had put out one of those little box sets that we've been talking about in my last podcast. It comes with a book. It comes with 6 postcards artwork, the Blu-ray and the 4K. The Blu-rays in these sets, most of them are Region B locked, but they duplicate all the extras and the movie on the 4K. So you really only need one disc if you have a 4K player. This new restoration in 4K was approved by the director and the director of photography. I have never seen the movie look like this. Sure, there are some really grainy, some low-res scenes like that, but most of the film has never looked this good. As someone who saw it back in the theater in 2002, this movie has never looked this good. The biggest problem is most of it was filmed in low-light scenes. It's a lot of darkness. It helped cover up the mechanical and effects work on the werewolves and such. It's dudes on stilts and things like that. But I remember watching it on the old DVD and even the Blu-ray, the black crush. You'd see these black splotches and all the shadows when you were watching the movie. If you're like your contrast was turned up a little too much on your TV, it was awful. Just choppy, pixelated blacks and stuff back. It made up a large part of the scene in a lot of scenes. All of that is gone. I mean, the opening scene in the tent with the couple in the tent, it's a very dark scene. But there was very little grain. Like film grain is handled on this incredibly well. It's very thin. It's there, obviously, because this is on real film stock. But wow, there were just a handful of scenes. I would say that the ISO was a little off. Now that I'm learning a little bit more about photography with drones and action cameras and stuff, if I raise my ISO higher, I get more noise, more grain in my shots. And that happened here on a few things. But overall, for the hour and 40 minutes that this movie plays, it has never looked this good. Colors look great. Everything looks natural. I was just shocked. And you can really appreciate the effects work now. Really impressed. I can't gush enough. This is the best the movie has ever looked without any sharpening, without any artificial DNR or anything like that. It still looks like the same movie, but it's never looked this clean. It's never looked... And I say clean. Like I said, if you're a fan of, if you hate grain, you're going to hate this, but it's better than it's ever looked. Now, the rigid box also came with a 108-page book. There's some very cool essays in there. There's a new interview with Neil Marshall in there, which kind of echoes some of the stuff that's in the video. There's a gag reel. There's an early short film in here. There are interviews with the production designers and stuff. There are so many great extras on this little box set. box set actually came out a couple years ago, but they're still being produced. So if you've never seen the movie, you've got a group of routine training mission in the Scottish Highlands of some military types. There's a little beginning that gives you kind of an inclination on some of the characters. Don't want to give any spoilers for people that haven't seen this. And basically, long story short, they're besieged by werewolves for most of the movie. It's a really good werewolf movie. It's done really well. There's not a whole lot of transformation scenes like American Werewolf in London or things like that, but it recreates kind of that thing in Alien, people in a small, space confined and being attacked by things that are otherworldly and out of their, they can't seem to kill the things. All in all, best the movie's ever looked. I would say it's worth importing this while they're still making it. Eventually, the rights will probably go away. Maybe not. But this second sight edition with the box and the extras and the book and all that, totally worth the money. Again, and there is a standard edition if you just want to buy that. The movie has never looked or sounded this good. It's a 5.1 mix that's, again, never heard it sound this great. Had directionality, had some interesting things. It still sounds a little thin. Well, I mean, it's a 23-year-old soundtrack. But all in all, best the movie's looked and sounded. All the extras are here. It's an amazing set. I'm glad it's on my shelf. And wow, I really enjoyed this movie. It's dark, has some comedic moments, has some nice interplay. I understand from the making of the film that the team of actors who play the squad kind of became a squad because they spent so much time getting this right. And it all pays off. I mean, it's a low-budget film that still holds up today. Dog Soldiers, pick up the second sight edition and be wowed by a really good werewolf movie since we got a really recent boring one. I'm Scott. I'm ROCKFILE. More podcasts are on the way. More of these second sight special editions, too. We'll talk about it. Thanks for liking, sharing, and subscribing. Have a spectacular day.